Finding stability through the Housing First program has given me a great opportunity to stabilize and gain perspective on the different aspects of things I was going through. With the support for all the food programs, there's always enough to eat. You have the breakfast club, the always in for lunch, and oftentimes there's out of the cold meals, or we have the other programs for out of the heat in the summertime.
The people are really wonderful. They are helpful. They want to do everything to provide a space and a place for people, that they have a house. Many people are in a position that they don't have enough money to go and ask for a place to live in, and they have to pay thousands of dollars for it, or $1,000. I've heard yesterday it's tremendous, that you have to pay for housing. And they have been putting us in a position that we can afford that. It's beautiful to live there. The people who you meet, who go there, is actually, they become family.
I think my most positive experiences have been with the staff, because I've gotten a number of renovations made, such as grab bars put in my kitchen and in my bathroom. I got a new bed because in apartment buildings, you often have situations with bugs. So I got a new bed that the region paid for. I got a new phone. I just find all the interactions that I've had with staff people have been really good. I haven't had to do a lot of educating about disability and that sort of thing. So I'd say, I have to mention one other thing too, because this is the reason I moved, to be close to my closest girlfriend. So I don't want to leave that out, because that's the reason that I moved. But I knew going into that would be a good thing. Of course, you don't know about interactions with staff and tenants and all of that until you've actually gotten into the process.
The Niagara Homelessness Services helped me tremendously. I would say mostly with community. The community support that I've got when I was homeless gave me self-confidence, gave me motivation, served me with dignity, which when you are in the homelessness system, first and foremost, you're broken. You're feeling shame and guilt. But just the support that I received at the shelter that I was at just changed my life dramatically, gave me self-confidence, and they guided me to a much better life and stable life. Right now, with COVID, things were a little down because of the lack of supports that were available to our friends that are seeking or in the homelessness system. But, I see that changing now. There's more community supports. There's more medical supports. There's all kinds of supports that people can have access to. The main one is, to me, is the social connections that everyone can have. And like I said, that was so encouraging for me when I was homeless, just being around people that were suffering the same mental health addictions and stuff. So right now, I would say the community part is really good. And the Housing First program, the Home for Good program, outreach, diversion in each shelter. It's just, I feel in the last 8 years since I've been involved in the shelter system, that so many positive things have come forward, new initiatives, new funding, and everything, just to, serve our friends with dignity and treat them as human beings, which they are.
Encountering an incredible group of informative and supportive support people. And I brought business cards from all the different departments that helped me. So if you don't mind, I would like to acknowledge those people. You're gonna have to stop because I would like to acknowledge the different agencies and offices that helped me and the people who were incredible in my journey to being successful. The very first office that I encountered was the Grimsby Affordable Housing Office, located in Grimsby. The support worker's name was Keisha. She was the one who interviewed me first and filled out applications for Niagara Regional Housing, and almost instantly, I would have to say within a day or two, called me back and told me about the Housing First program, and that they had an opening in Housing First, and was I interested in participating in that. They were incredibly informative as far as resources and what options I had at that point, and then gave me a chance to weigh the pros and cons of every avenue and make a decision whether I was going to go with Housing First or stay with the affordable housing. Put me in contact with Housing First, and I had my first worker. Her name was Kelly. She was amazing as far as being supportive and being positive. I was at a very low point in my self-esteem, and a few things happened. The first thing, when we went to look at apartments, and then if I found an apartment that was suitable, my credit rating wasn't sufficient to be able to get some apartments. So I was really getting discouraged. And Kelly just kept forging on, and the apartment that I eventually got, I was so low in my expectations as far as being able to find housing that I actually wasn't even going to go to apply for the apartment. And I'm so glad I did, because, you know, it's been an amazing place to live, and an amazing first step to the rest of my success. The other workers that I worked with was a lady named Erin, and then my last worker was someone named Lacey. And all three housing support workers were just amazing with the resources and information they needed, that they knew I needed to be able to reach my goals. So when Kelly was my support worker, I had applied for Niagara Regional Housing. When we found the apartment, prior to meeting Kelly, I got referred to the Grimsby Benevolent Fund, and the person in charge there, her name was Ashley. So they provided food support, and Ashley was amazing, because every time you went for food support, you actually had an interview with her. She got an update from you, how you were doing, and really got a feel, like, emotionally, how people were doing. And then if she felt that you needed something, they tried to provide it. So even getting a winter coat and winter boots, right? So when Kelly finally, the last apartment that I finally got, Kelly arranged for the Grimsby Benevolent Society. They did half of my first and last. And then the second part of that came from OW. So the person that I met at OW, her name was Tabby. So Tabby, again, was an excellent person to have contact with. They provided me with, I think, some emergency funding at some point the next year, and the help with the deposit on the rent to get the apartment, and also arranged to have a brand new bed delivered, because I had lost just about everything I owned. It was in storage and I couldn't afford to pay it, so I lost most of my belongings. So she was very compassionate also. Kelly knew that I wanted to be an independent person. And so about a month after I had moved into the apartment, she took me to the Y job program on Bunting. And I ended up with a job counselor named Kelly, who was amazing. She took my resume. We discussed the kind of jobs that I was looking for. And then she also realized from our conversations that I needed a rest period in the apartment so that, you know, I could face the next step and be a more confident person going out to apply for jobs. It took me a year and a half to get a job. I ended up being discriminated because I'm a senior. And one job in particular, I took they had like a test that you had to do. And when I talked to the resource worker, I ended up surpassing what most people had done as far as the results from the test, but then didn't get the job because I made the mistake of telling her I was a grandmother, how old I was. So I applied for Niagara Regional Housing Assistance, income assistance, like rental income because of geared to income. And the lady at Niagara Regional Housing, her name is Anna. She's always been amazing with any kind of information that I needed in the process of finding work. I had to then decipher what kind of job I should get. And quickly, like if I got a part-time job, everything that I earned would get taken away. So it wasn't even worthwhile going and getting a part-time job. So I had to get something that paid more money, paid for my ability in order to try to make a positive move and a move to independence. I've never been on OW. I'm on pension, so I'm on a fixed income. Natasha was the one who counseled me just before my interview for the job that I got. So it was very helpful, the things that I thought I knew about interviewing, because for years I was self-employed and hired people. I thought I knew how to conduct myself in an interview, but learned enough that I ended up getting the job. So, and that's part of my success story. Other people who have been very helpful, Carrie at the Salvation Army, Laura Juris at the Community Care. And now I'm with Jeffrey Sinclair and all the amazing work that we're doing now with the Lived Experience Group. The Housing First Support Work Program.